What is going on, everybody? Back at it again with another YouTube video. And yesterday, the Philadelphia Phillies announced and introduced Dave Dombrowski as the new president of operations for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, I do definitely want to go over some of the main things that he said. And I also, again, want to put my own input into it because after looking over what he has actually done in his career of being a president of baseball operations for the Marlins, the Tigers, and the Red Sox, I then want to put it with this current Phillies team. And that's what I'm going to do first. But just to start everything off, if you guys are new to the channel and you do love Philadelphia sports, Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and the Philadelphia Union, then make sure to subscribe to the channel because we cover it all here on 4for4 Philly Fan. There's also going to be some pretty big news coming from my end of, the bargain here with YouTube. I definitely want to be able to give back to the community, and I also want to put out something that is going to, be pretty cool to have. So, make sure to stay tuned for that. All news on the things that I have planned for this channel will be under the community post guidelines. But let's get into talking Phillies baseball. Now, the Phillies, as we all know, are nowhere near where we should be, honestly. Now, our farm system is trash. We have very little prospects. We have names, but our pitching and our bullpen are horrendous. And, when you have Matt Klentak and Gabe Kapler for a couple years, and then you have, now you have Girardi and Dombrowski, they're kind of following along with every Philadelphia team and what they have done over the last couple years. I mean, every single Philly team, except the Eagles, has really kind of reorganized everything, going from upper management down to the coach. And all I got to say is, look how that's been working for the teams that have made major moves within the organization. Look at the Flyers and look at the Sixers. I feel a lot better this year going into the NBA season with Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers, Elton Brand, and that coaching staff than I did last year with just Elton Brand and Brett Brown. Doc Rivers is a proven winner. He has won a championship. He has been to a couple. He knows what he's doing. Same thing with Daryl Morey. And then you add the other coaches. I mean, you have years and years and years of coaching experience on our roster. And that's great. And same thing with Daryl Morey. He loves to make the moves. He loves to make the big trades. He loves to spend money. And that's what it's going to take to win championships nowadays. You need to go out and you need to hire and sign big players and good coaches. Look at the Flyers. You go out, you go get Chuck Fletcher, you bring in Alain Vigneault, bring in Kevin Hayes. Where were the Flyers last year? Where were the Flyers the year before with Dave Haxtell and Hextall? Where were they? They were not in the playoffs. Last year, the Flyers made the playoffs. This year, who knows what's going to happen with the Sixers? But I feel a lot better going into this season than last. And now you have the Phillies. You now have Dave Dombrowski and you have Joe Girardi. I like it. I like those two. Now, obviously it's Middleton that has been the guy that has needed to shut up a lot during this offseason. He has not said the right things. But everything that Dave Dombrowski said in his opening press conference seemed to fit well with me and a lot of Phillies fans. Sports Talk with Broads, Jack Fritz. These guys, if you don't follow them on Twitter or subscribe to them on YouTube, these guys know a lot. Bob from Crossing Broad, another guy. These guys know what they're talking about. They cover the Phillies. And, it's great to hear that when Dombrowski first got to the Phillies, when he first was breaking headlines that the Phillies were looking at him and were very close to signing him, Broads and Jack Fritz, they both said, I don't really like it. But then yesterday you go back, you look at, a couple things that they said, and, he said the right things. Dave Dombrowski said the right things yesterday, and that's all I can ask for this guy to do. But now it's up to Middleton. Is Middleton going to actually put his money where his mouth is? Because the Mets just signed James McCann today to a 4-year, $40 million contract. That opens the doors for the Phillies. You got to bring in JT. You got to re-sign him now. At this point, you have to. It's that simple. If Dave Dombrowski can sign back JT Realmuto to the Phillies, you now make Bryce Harper happy, you make the fans happy, and you get the best catcher in the league back with your team. I mean, that's huge. But, I personally like Dombrowski, and again, I do agree with the guys that I was talking about. They did say that he did say the right things. He's not going to rebuild. You can't rebuild a team with Bryce Harper on there. It can't happen. You can retool it. And that is what he used. He used the word retool instead of rebuild. And, he says with 3 pitchers, you can win a World Series. And, this guy has made some very good moves in his career. Miguel Cabrera, Chris Sale, David Price, where they brought in with millions and millions and millions of dollars and not millions, and a lot of good trade pieces. Yeah, they were. But he brought Detroit to a very high time in their city for baseball. He brought the Red Sox to a World Series championship in 2018. Now, he did lose Mookie Betts, and he was fired 11 months later, but he still did it. And, would I trade away the future for a Bryce Harper Phillies championship? I think I would. Because I think, depending on what happens, what's Harper now? 27, 28? Now he's entering his prime. He's in his prime. You can't rebuild now. He has 11 years left on his contract. But, you need pitchers. You need a bullpen. I think Bohm is out of the discussion for prospects. I think it now goes to Mick Abel and Bryson Stott and Molina. I do think that there is a move to be made, and I don't know if it's a signing move with JT and possibly even Didi Gregorius. Do they now go after Francisco Lindor, because you all know that he is a piece that the Indians want to move on from because they know they probably can't re-sign him? There's a lot of different things now with Dave Dombrowski coming here. But it's going to come down to Middleton. Middleton is going to be the guy that gives the okay. And if he does that, I think Dave Dombrowski can bring this 500 baseball team to at least the playoffs. I think he could get enough talent, and I think he can get enough players with a payroll that you can bring this team to the playoffs. I think you have 3 solid pitchers. I think you have 2 great, and I think you have 2 very good, and I think you have 1 serviceable in Eflin. Now, what happens at the end of the rotation, I don't know. I mean, you obviously have Velasquez, and you have Spencer Howard, who even could be, one of those prospects that you trade. But you look at the top 3 with Wheeler, Nola, and Eflin. Now, I like those guys. I think Wheeler and Nola are a great 1 and 2. I think it's one of the best 1 and 2s in the league, honestly. Obviously, there's better, but I think it is a very good 1-2 punch back-to-back days. But, it's going to depend on, obviously, the bullpen. Were we just a bullpen from making the playoffs last year? I believe so. But we're not just a bullpen away from winning a World Series. And that's the difference between Matt Klentak and Dave Dombrowski. Klentak went after that bullpen because he knew we could make the playoffs last year, and he failed miserably at it. He traded away Nick Pivetta, which I didn't really even mind because I didn't like Pivetta. But You traded away Pavetta and a player to be named later for Heath Hembry and Brandon Workman, and we still missed the playoffs. We went on like a 10 of 11 game win streak, and we still didn't make the playoffs in a 60 game season. The bullpen fell apart. You didn't work on other things that you kind of needed, and it backfired. It backfired big time. And, you know, it's I just don't know. But I do definitely want to see the Phillies in the postseason. That's what I want to see. And I think Dave Dombrowski could do a very good job of that. I think he could bring this squad to at least better than what we have seen. And it's going to start with the players that he can now acquire. Can he acquire back JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, or is he going to go after Francisco Lindor and other guys like that? Because you still do have Trevor Bauer out there. You still do have George Springer out there. But, again, Dave Dombrowski brings a very good he brings a very good resume over from his past teams. He's won 2 World Series with the Marlins in 99 and the Red Sox in 18. And he helped the Tigers go to the World Series twice when he was there. So I'm going to stay optimistic on this guy, Dombrowski. I do think he is good. I don't know how he's going to work with Middleton because I just don't know what Middleton wants to do. He is confusing. But, we'll just have to see. I'm excited for Phillies baseball, obviously, but we do have Sixers preseason on Tuesday. The Flyers are reportedly coming back January 15th, somewhere around that time. The Eagles, I'm out on them. But, we do have 3 teams that I am looking forward to in this city. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you are new, make sure to subscribe. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace.